He got problems, she got problems. Only I got 411 problems. Hey, hi, what's up, y'all? Welcome and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another story time. Hey, Ange fam, welcome to I Don't Play with Voodoo. So remember I told y'all in a cut, did I come to story time? Yeah, it'll have to be in story times because it's not in vlogs, I don't think. Anyway, remember I told y'all like my grandma was a healer. Story time. It's in which one is this? How did I get in it? It's in that one. I told y'all like my grandmother's a healer, right? And she knows certain things, and I done seen certain things. Like I don't put on my Facebook, like certain posts. Like you playing with voodoo, like listen, when you playing with that and you dibbling and dabbling with that, it's literally just like the princess and the frog. Like you got what you wanted, but you lost what you had. Like they gonna leave with something. They gonna leave with something. And sometimes like that stuff don't turn out how y'all think it's gonna turn out. Like they tax. They tax. So if you want to play with it, you better make sure you're being extremely specific about it. And then even when you're doing that, there is still some side effects, some repercussions to playing around with it. Which is why I tell people, do not do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Y'all on TikTok and it didn't listen to that lady when she was talking about them honey jars and them love spells and them people and be pushing us. Y'all side effects and repercussions. Play with it if you want to. Anyway, my grandma was a healer, so she knew, let's say, herbalist type situation. So when I first watched Sinners, the I don't remember her name, but the one what was her name? Let me look. Hold on. So Annie definitely reminded me of my grandmother to an extent. It was like Annie was very knowledgeable. She knew certain things. She knew how to move. She knew how to ask the right questions. That was definitely my grandmother. But the difference was my grandmother had like her flowers and stuff that was behind her little outhouse. It wasn't just regular flowers. Like I noticed how my grandmother, I would say, had a green thumb and how she can make anything and everything grow. But when it came down to people and how people always came over there, people would come and do certain things. Like even when we got sick, there were certain things that she would do and she would maneuver that would heal us in an instant that I would notice. There was something that she had us drink called snake root. Like she had an actual root. It was roots, plants, but she would let it sit in a jar and it would turn to a certain medicine. And so we would drink that. Like when I would start to get like sick or start, there were certain things that she would tell my mama to do. She told my mama to do it. My mama actually did it. That helped Tyler out with his asthma. Tyler's asthma was absolutely horrible. Tyler used to be on a breathing machine every 4 hours. When he went to go stay with my mama, she did. My asthma echoed more than Tyler's, and mine was dormant for years after basketball. So Tyler, very rare, very often, very rare, very seldom, not often at all will you see Tyler have an asthma attack. Like most of the time he's looking at me like, you okay? You okay? Because by the time my asthma became active, my grandmother was already gone. So yeah. So anyway, there's certain things that she would know. There's certain things that she would do. There's certain things that she would say. And I told y'all, like, to be in a child's place, in order to get the information, in order to get the tea, you sit and you be quiet. Because when you look like you paying attention and you look like you in their business, they gonna send you somewhere else and you can't get the tea. So I kind of peeked that, where she was like, go sit in there and watch TV. But the way my grandmother's house was set up, it was like the den, you can see her kitchen. It was like, okay, the den, quick 2-3 step, her kitchen, quick 2-3 step, her dining room. So if they sitting in the dining room or if they talking in the kitchen, I'm in the den, I can still hear them. And the TV is not that loud. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, like I'm sitting, or if she on the phone, because the phone sat in a certain place because there was no cordless phones. We had a long cord in our downstairs where you could walk around in the family room and in the rooms downstairs because the cord was extremely long. But upstairs, like, you had to sit at the desk and talk on the phone if you wanted to be on the phone because it was a stationary phone. It was a rotary phone, is what it was called, and you had to dial like that to make a phone call. So you sit down, and her phone was in the dining room. So if she was sitting in the dining room and she on the phone, like Smokey Mama, yes I did. Literally having a good time with her people. And when I'm telling y'all, like, I enjoyed listening to the old people because the old people had the tea. So I love hanging out with my grandma because, baby, tea. So it was this one lady. I need to give her a name. Hold on. We're going to call her Willie Jean. I don't think my granny knew no Willie Jeans. Trying to make sure. I don't think my granny knew no Willie Jeans. We don't call her Willie Jeans. Or should I just call her Jean? I like Willie Jean. We don't call her Willie Jean. So Miss Willie Jean, yeah. Miss Willie Jean was the town drunk. Miss Willie Jean was the town drunk. And when I say that, like, I ain't saying that to be lightly. Miss Willie Jean was the type of drunk who, when she walk up to you, you can look at Miss Willie Jean's eyes, like her eyes was red. When I say red, I mean red. Like, you never saw the white in her eyes ever. I never saw the white in her eyes ever. She had bags under her eyes, and I don't think it was from old age. I just really think she was a restless soul. And you can smell it through her pores. Like, you, when she walk up on you, not only in her breath, you can smell it through her pores. Like, alcohol was her perfume. Alcohol was her natural body essence because she had drunk it so much. Like, you could just tell, like, you cannot function without it. But Miss Willie Jean was always driving, always speeding through, always maneuvering with alcohol. Like, if she was sober, I don't think Miss Willie Jean could function. So Miss Willie Jean would always pop up and come in. Hey Daisy, because that's literally what they call my grandma. Hey Daisy, that was her nickname. Her actual name was Mary. Hey Daisy, how you doing? How you doing, Daisy? Because my grandma would sell, I won't necessarily sell plates, but she would sell cakes. Everybody extremely loved her pound cake. My grandma could cook. So, but they really loved her pound cake. She would make pound cake from scratch. Like, no, very rare you saw a box. She would have a maneuver. I don't know what the maneuver was. Like I said, I wish I got in the kitchen with my grandma, but I didn't. But people would come and they would pay for her to make her pound cake, honey. And people would come and sit at the table. And she had passed that down to my mama because one of my aunts on my daddy's side told me about them having parties, and my mama used to be the baker. She denied it, but according to my sister, that was true. So, girl, you was throwing parties and stuff, and like just kept me in the house, like, anyway. So yeah, so my grandma used to have people in and out, but Miss Willie Jean, I knew when Miss Willie Jean was coming because she was always the loudest, and then she always smelled like alcohol. She always stink, and her words most of the time was slurred. So basically, she be like, "Hey Daisy, how you doing, girl? You cooking any cakes today? What you cook? Can I get a plate? Huh? Huh?" What's crazy is Miss Willie Jean was tall, muscular type lady, always had a man, and bald head. Bald head, baby. Do you hear me? She barely had hair. Most of the time when she walked around, she had them little tiny pink rollers in there holding on to the little bit of hair that she had left. And baby, they was calling on the name of Jesus to make sure they stayed in her head because there was barely any hair up there. But always had a man. Always had a man. So this one particular day, like, she had came over, the same situation. She was like a hunchback type, thick. When I say like she was huge, muscular, but she would lean over like she had a hunchback. And you could tell she had her purse, and in her purse, like I could see the alcohol. She would have a bottle. She had to have a bottle in her purse. She had to have a bottle in her car because she could not function without alcohol. So when she would come, I knew she was coming because this was during the time we had locked doors. So my grandma they would lock the doors when they would go to sleep at night, but during the day the doors stay open. So you could just walk in. Her front door wasn't locked. You could just walk in. It was unlocked. Or most of the time everybody came to the back door because that's where we was, because that's where the den was, and the back door was on the side, and you just come stand at the screen door and be like, hey. But most of the people who was coming, like guest wise, who didn't know about the back door, like they come through the front. And then either they would knock or they would open it, stand at the door and say, hey, anybody here? And this is during the time when people didn't lock their doors. And then if you didn't get a response, you closed those people doors and you come back. You didn't walk in their house when nobody was there. Times have definitely changed. So listen. So this particular time, Miss Willie Jean, because I keep wanting to call that lady name, Miss Willie Jean came and she was frustrated and she was venting about her man. And so she was basically saying how she was tired of her man cheating on her and she ain't got to deal with it. And she was like, if I catch him one more time cheating on me, I'm going to do what I need to do, and I'm going to pull my pistol out this purse and I'm going to take care of him. And so my grandma was like, if you don't want to be with the man no more, let the man go. Because the man was living with her. He living with her. So he at your house. If you don't want to be with him no more, let him go. Put the man out. And so basically she was telling my grandma like she can't put him out because she don't want to be by herself. No, he loved me. He loved me. He loved me. Daisy, I can't let him go. He loved me. He loved me. So I'm sitting there going, why the heat in the heat of the night is on? Trying to make sure I'm watching TV, but paying attention and getting the tea. Because my grandmama them tea was more hot than in the heat of the night. So I'm leaning back and go, no, he loved me. I just want him to act right. I just don't want him to cheat on me. You got something you can do out there behind there in your outhouse. You got something you can do back there in your garden. Now, mind you, we had a big garden behind my mama's house. We had a big garden. Well, what she was talking about was this little cut in this little area where my grandma keep her flowers. And my grandma, when she used to go back there, she used to put on her little orange boots, and she had on her moo, and she'd go put on her orange boots, and she'd put on her straw hat, and she'll go back there in her garden and tend to her flowers. She'd be like, I'm going to send my flowers. I'll be back. You stay in here. Very rare would she let me like come back there. You know what I'm saying? And even if she did, like, you know, most of the time, because she had them in buckets and pots, and then there was a tub back there too. She had them in the tub too. She had dirt in a tub, in an old tub with flowers in. So you got something in your garden. You got something in your garden for me I can use. And so my grandma said, I don't play with voodoo like that. She said, no. Grandma said, I don't play with the herbs like that. No, I just want to make sure like he stay with me. I just don't want him to cheat on me. I just don't want him to cheat on me no more, Daisy. He love me. So according to my grandma, if he love you, baby, he not gonna cheat on you. And so she was like, I don't do that. She was like, if you want a piece of cake, you can sit here and talk, you can sit here and vent, but I don't play with voodoo like that. And there's nothing in my garden but flowers. So they talked, chitter chatter for a while. Nothing for me to retain. It's just regular schmegular stuff. She gone about her day. So I was there like a week or two later. Here comes Willie Jean. Hey Daisy, what you got going on? What you got going on? How you doing? What you cook? You cook some cake. Same thing. It's always the same greeting, always the same thing. So this particular time, of course, you can smell it. Like I told her, she cannot function without alcohol. It's almost like the Tin Man. I need the oil to maneuver. And if she didn't have her alcohol, baby, she can't move. So this particular time, she said again, like, oh, he cheated on me again. He cheated on me again. And I'm gonna figure out a way to unalive him. I'm gonna figure out a way to unalive him because I can't deal with this no more. And I'm just tired. So my grandma again, let him go. If the man is cheating on you, let him go. Like he in your house. Put him out your house. Stop taking care of him. Cause she got a social security check. During this time, like social security wasn't a lot, but prices wasn't extremely crazy. So you were able to survive and able to manage. So, you know what I'm saying? Like they get that little social security check, and survive. So she had a house. Like back then, like they built houses, and the biggest thing, like the stock for you to have, and even now to this day, is land. Land is key. Land is currency. So, and especially down there, land, because you didn't have like the little 0.5 schmiggler, like you can look over and look in your neighbor's house. No, you got acres. You would buy acres. Because the goal was to pass the land down to the family, to your children's children, and keep it in the family. But then it got to a point, once people die, there's always one family member who want to sell. Yeah. Anyway, so she was basically, it was like, like I'm just tired. So my grandma was trying to tell her, just let the man go. Just let him go. You take care of him. Just let him go. He cheating on you. The only reason he at your house because he need a place to stay. He's a homosexual. He need a place to stay. So let him go. Let him go, girl. Let him go. Cut him loose, girl. Cut him loose. Cut him loose, girl. But you did not want to let the man go. Like it's better to have a piece of man than to have none at all. Like Betty said, you a lie. You get the I don't know why y'all be putting up with the stuff y'all put up with talking about the name of love. No, I think a lot of y'all just scared to be by yourself and y'all hadn't did the work. Therapy works. Thank God for therapy. Cause I no longer water myself down for the crazy stuff. Anyway. Shit. So grandma was like, just let him go. Just let him go. She was like, no, I don't want to let him go. I just need you to go out there in your garden. And so my grandma was like, I don't play with voodoo like that. So my grandma was like, well, pray about it. Nah, Daisy, I don't go to no church. I don't be up in no church. I need to stop talking like that. But that's how that lady sounds. She was like, I don't be up in the church like that, girl. I don't go to church. I don't do church. Walk to the church and catch your fire. God damn! Evil is good. I love vampire. Don't mind me. Anyway, I don't do church, which she didn't. She did not do church at all. But what I would give Willie Jean credit for, she was brutally honest. Like just brutally honest, cutthroat, would tell you like it is. Even when like she opened her purse, put her purse down, you saw the pistol, the alcohol bottle, and a water cash. Like she was just Willie Jean. Like it wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts, no difference. Every time you see her, what you saw is what you got. It was Willie Jean. Real talk. But you knew she was gonna smell like alcohol, and you knew she was drunk. But she was always driving. And when I say when she was driving, she was a speed demon, baby. She wasn't going slow. So if she coming, get out the way. You better move, because you might walk over there, but you lift it. You live it back. So normally she was like, well, you're not gonna help me, I'm gonna take care. I'm gonna take care. And so like 2 weeks later, maybe a month later, Miss Willie Jean and the man get in an accident. So-called, she was drunk, she hit a tree. Miss Willie Jean in the hospital for a long time. Boyfriend gone on the glory. He no longer here. So for me, I was like, oh, she took care of it. You in trouble? Like, you in trouble, lady? You in trouble. So at this point in time, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, I'm like, well, Miss Willie Jean, once she get out the hospital, she going to jail. And she had been in the hospital for a long time. She was really jacked up. Like, the accident really jacked her up, right? And so it was like, dang. And that's usually how it is. It's usually like the drunk driver will still be alive, and the other people who not drunk, they be the ones who don't make it. And my thing was, you not drunk. Like, the dude was never drunk. He wasn't the one drinking or whatever. Why you not driving? But she would never let him drive her car. And then I don't know. Anyway, she was in the hospital for a long time. So, you know, me listening when the other girls would come over to chit chat and talk about, you know, and talk to my grandma, she would be on the phone. You know, it's like they was talking about like what's gonna happen, and once she get out of the hospital, like she, you know, she gonna go to court, she gonna go to jail, like what's gonna happen. Well, lo and behold, once she went to court, come to find out, like it wasn't like it was intentional of her hitting a tree and splitting a tree. Deer jumped down in front of her. She swerved. Then that caused the accident. So there's no vehicular homicide, manslaughter, none of that. It was you swerved to hit the Mr. Deer, lost control of the car, accident. During this time, like I guess the dude family didn't care or whatever. I don't know, but she went to court or whatever, and alcohol wasn't the cause. It was the deer. It was the deer. The deer. She got off. So you would think that would kind of wake her up a little bit, right? It did for a little while. She would come around. She was clean. You could tell she had kind of slacked off a little bit because you didn't smell as bad with the alcohol. The alcohol wasn't in your purse. The pistol was, the water cash. You had slowed down a little bit with come down with the driving, but you were starting to do your hair. Still had the little bags under your eyes, but you kind of slacked off the alcohol. You kind of backed up off it a little bit. Cause maybe like the fact that you going to jail kind of scared you. But at this point in time, like, girl, you old, you done lived your life. You done lived your life like majority of your life. But I get it, because being in jail is not something anybody would want to do. I wouldn't want to do. I don't know why people be like, oh, I can do jail, no problem. Yeah, no thanks. No thanks. So anyway, you can tell like she kind of slacked off or whatever. So you know what I'm saying? Like this one particular time she came and she had bought a cake. So she was like, you know, don't stop talking like that. She's like, you know, Daisy, I thank you. I want to so bad. I thank you. I thank you for not, you know, for not going in your garden, for not using it, not abusing it, you know, for telling me the truth, for being my friend. I appreciate you. And so my girl was like, yeah, I don't play with voodoo like that. I don't play with voodoo like that. And so she was like, you know, you got all this power. You really believe that's God? You really believe that's God? You really believe God gave you that stuff? And so my grandma was like, yeah, God gives us gifts. God gives us gifts. God gives everybody gifts. Everybody doesn't have the same gift, which is true. She was like, but it's all how you use certain things, which is true. Even with them saying money is the root of all evil, it's not money. It's how you use it. And it's the person. It's not the money. It's the person. Because if you've been broke and then you get all this money and you start treating people like crap, that's who you always was. Money doesn't change you. It just exposes who you really are. Just saying. Anyway, so my grandma was like, I just don't play with it. She was like, and it comes, you know, it comes with certain things. My job, she was like, my job, if I'm using it, is to heal people if they're sick, if they have stuff that, you know, the doctor can't figure out, which was what our ancestors did, because baby ain't no pharmacies and nothing back then. And then even with the slaves, like they wasn't getting medical care. Like when they first came over here, you first bought them off the ships, you took them to the veterinarians, because to them we're animals. So you took them to a veterinarian, not a medical doctor. And then once they're on your plantation, like they wasn't giving you medical care. Y'all had to get medical care from things that was passed down from our ancestors, of them knowing the herbs and knowing what to do and knowing how to heal you, which was called like the medicine woman. Yeah. Oh, you have to be careful, especially anyway. Anyway. So yeah, so my grandma was like, my stuff, my job is to heal people. I heal people. And if it's not in that era, like I don't mess with it. I don't mess with it. She's like, I done seen how that can tear people apart. If you playing with you, I don't play with spirits like that. I don't need nobody coming here playing with nothing like else like that. Like it's not just that one thing. Like it's loaded basically. Like that stuff carries, and they tax you. They tax. So they coming. Whatever you promise and you don't fulfill it, they taxing on it. Just saying. You just saying. Anyway. So yeah. So she was basically explaining like how she don't play with it. She only thing she do to heal. Like you got a little cold, you got a cut, you know, something going on with your chest, you feeling a little breathing. I can tell you what to do. You can go on with that, but I don't play with voodoo like that. So lo and behold, after that, I guess with her being in the house by herself, which was like her biggest fear anyway, which was why she was keeping the man, she started back drinking. She started back drinking again. When she started back drinking again, she started back driving crazy again. You are a danger to everybody in the community now. Because now you're older. Now you don't have no care in the world. Because the man is gone. And then you are fighting with the fact that you unalive this man. Like the man is not there. And then you lonely, right? So lo and behold, there's one particular night, my classmate at this point in time, I am in the fourth grade. I'm in the fourth grade doing all this, y'all. Miss Willie Jean, I'm in the fourth grade. And one of my classmates, the teacher come in and she was like, one of the classmates is in the hospital. She was in an accident. We gonna send up prayers for her. Because her and her grandmother was driving, was in the accident. They're in the hospital. The grandmother is not doing too good. Your classmate, she's hurt, but she didn't get the injuries that her grandmother got, right? And so I went home because usually when I get out of school, like my grandmother would be the one home. And I would just go to my grandma's house after, if I ain't had no homework or whatever, I'd just go to my grandma's house. I love hanging out with my grandma, honey. I would go to my grandma's house. So I went to my grandma's house and I would tell her the stuff that was going on at school. Like literally, like we was gossiping. She knew the stuff, the tea from school from a fourth grader perspective. And so I was telling her how, and I was like, grandma, like one of my classmates was in an accident. And I was like, her grandma not doing good. And I was like, the grandma, because I told her the classmate's name. And I was like, her grandma. And so she was like, yeah, I know her. And I was like, oh no, because the town is small. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all, everybody know everybody. And so I was like, oh no. And I was like, you know her well? Like, y'all talk. She was like, yeah, I know her well. I know exactly who she is. And I was like, oh man, they was in a car accident. She said, yeah, Willie Jean hit them head on. Hold on, y'all. So my mouth dropped. Because I wasn't expecting it to be Miss Willie Jean. But then it kind of made sense. But then it's like now you affecting kids. You affecting people who don't even drink. Like my classmates' grandma didn't drink. Like both of them were sober. You know what I'm saying? Doing what they were supposed to do, and you were drunk, so drunk. You oblivious, don't even know what happened, because they was like when they put her in the ambulance, Miss Willie Jean, you screaming and hollering, oh, she should have got out of my way. Like you, and they crazy. The crazy part is you was jacked up too. You was jacked up too, screaming and hollering in the ambulance. So my classmate came, and when she came, like you could see the seatbelt burn on her chest, and you can see like right there on her nose where she had hit the dashboard, and you can see right there on her nose like the injuries that she had sustained, and she had like cuts and bruises on her face. So her grandma was still in the hospital, and so was Miss Willie Jean. So my grandma used to go to the hospital and like go visit them or whatever, right? And so I was like, this one particular day I asked her, and I was like, after she had went to the hospital, I was like, how Miss Willie Jean doing? And so she was like, she not doing too good. Because at this point in time, it was like she had made a turn for the better, and then all of a sudden she slipped into a coma. And when she slipped into a coma, that's when my grandma was like, she not doing too good. She not doing well. Only thing we could do, my grandma used to say this a lot, is, pray about it and let God's will be done. Only thing we can do is pray about it and let God's will be done. And so it was like, dang. So lo and behold, my classmate's grandma ended up getting better. She was still, because she was older, it still took her a while to recover. She was getting better. But Miss Willie Jean was still in the hospital. And she had been in the hospital for a long time. And then I would say maybe like a month or two later, Miss Willie Jean, she died or whatever. And so when she died, I asked my grandma, I was like, like, you okay? Because that's her friend. You when you get used to and accustomed to somebody coming by all the time, hey Daisy, you get used to that. You get used to your friends coming by, even when what I'm saying, even when a friend move away and y'all don't live in the same state anymore, like you get used to and accustomed to your friend constantly coming by, and then when they move away and they're no longer doing that, like you miss certain things when it was a constant interaction between you and a friend, you and a person, you know what I'm saying? It's somebody that you deem as, somebody that you care about. And so, I'm like, you okay? Like you miss your friend, you like, you okay? You okay? She said, yeah, I'm okay, I'm okay. She's like, it's life. It's life. We all got to die one day, which is true. And I was like, oh, okay, I was making sure you okay, because my grandma was like, you couldn't really tell when she was dealing with certain things. She was the type of woman who was kind of quiet. She commanded strength when she walked into the room, but she was quiet. You couldn't tell what she was dealing with. It wasn't like she was vocal like that. Most of the time, like, what I'm saying, she would mean what she say when she said certain things. She didn't play about herself. She didn't play about herself. And if she needed to defend her family, she would. She would go grab a gun and she could go grab a gun and put it at your head and be like, play with me when it came down to it. You know what I'm saying? So she didn't play no games when it came down to her family, especially if it was something that she knew about, right? But when it was something like emotional or eternal, like feelings wise, most of the time when I was around her, like I didn't hear it. Like, she if she was hurting or if she was sick, she was like, oh, I'm okay, I'm feeling okay. I might be a little bad down, but I'm okay, I'll be all right. I'm gonna be all right. Stuff like that. Most of the time she nodding her head, watching TV, or her Bible in her lap open. You know what I'm saying? Like, the most of the time, the most vocal I did hear her, of course, when the Young and Restless was on. Oh, or if she was on the phone. Boy, that Victor knew me. That Victor knew me. So it was like, or she watching the Guiding Light. Boy, that Reba. Because Reba used to give them on Guiding Light, honey. So, yeah. So it was like be vocal, but mostly quiet. So if in processing when it came down to death, because she was always singing at funerals, or she was at funerals because she knew a lot of people and a lot of people knew her. You know what I'm saying? Like there wasn't a lot of emotion when it came down to it. And so she was like, yeah, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. And so this is when I got bold enough to ask her to say, like, oh, why she kept saying go in your garden? Why she kept wanting to go in your flowers? I'm not understanding why she wanted to go in your flowers. And so grandma was like, that's not for young kids, and I don't play with voodoo like that. I love you the most because you're definitely the dopest in real life. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye. Bombs over Baghdad. All right, let's get into it. Let me turn the heat off. Maybe it's the air from the heater. It's kind of messing with my ass. It's cold. Jesus. It's cold, Jesus. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. It's cold. Put it on my foot. Something. Yeah. Let's do that. You know, you're probably gonna hear it in a minute. Oh. I should have been